Greetings, and welcome to another edition of Seamless Style, powered by Politics and Polaroids. I'm your host, Mr. Parker. World's opening up some more. We still out here battling COVID. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, but due to what seems to be a lessening of the anti-vax sentiments and the fact that there is a vaccination that we hope and pray doesn't have any lasting side effects, not particularly and not specifically, but especially my community, black culture, bad history with vaccines. So we're hoping and praying that the vaccine doesn't have any side effects later on down the line. That said, most people, there are normally two types of people in the world when it comes to traveling. Most people, if you live in what I would want to call a normal climate area, which means when it's spring, you get springtime temperatures, summertime, fall, winter, etc. When you get the temperatures that you're expected to get during those seasons, then most of those people, you either want to travel when it's cold. So in the fall, maybe you travel, or maybe that's when you really start making plans to travel. And then in the winter is when you take that 2-week vacation to get away from the cold. Or you have people that travel during the summer months, which, I'm not here to judge anybody, but to me, that's kind of some off thinking. If you come from, let's say you live in New York, why would you, if most people want to travel, to get away from cold. So traveling in the summertime when you're living in New York, it's kind of not, it's not sensible to me, but people do it. Then you have a third group of people like me, where I travel when I feel like traveling, or when I can in the case of a pandemic. But I travel when I feel like traveling. So what that means is I'm not traveling because of the weather conditions where I live. That has nothing to do with it. I'm traveling because I want to travel. And I may actually be traveling somewhere to enjoy their weather conditions. So being that I'm a person that loves fall and winter, being that I'm a person that loves to layer and wear layered clothing, traveling in December or January to a colder climated city or state, for me, that's a good thing. It's crazy to everybody else or to those other groups, but to that third group of us, yeah. Now, of course, traveling to Turks and Caicos, or traveling to Brazil, or traveling to Monaco, places like that, where all you got to pack is a couple pair of shorts, maybe a linen suit, some sandals, a pair of flip-flops, and some t-shirts. Yeah, that's a whole vibe, obviously. But traveling to a cold weather city in January, for me, for us, is also a vibe. Especially when you coming from North Carolina, where we just got snow 2 weekends in a row, but we hadn't had snow in like real North Carolina snow, which is only about 4 to 6 inches. We hadn't had snow in about 2-3 years. So it's time to travel. So for this particular episode, as I stated in last week's episode, we're going to focus on what to wear when you're in those real cold weather climates and atmospheres. We're talking about traveling. I'm not speaking to the people that live in those areas. They already know what to wear. But if you live in North Carolina, if you live in South Carolina, if you live in Georgia, if you live in Florida, and you have to go to Minnesota in January, you can't. It's. I'm not gonna say you can't. It may not be feasible to buy a coat from Burlington Coat Factory in Florida to go to Minnesota. That wind coming off those lakes is gonna just be totally rude and disrespectful to that lame goose down coat that you bought from Burlington Coat Factory. I'm just saying, don't kill the messenger. So, the ensemble I'm wearing is because I'm traveling to Chicago. I'm going to Chicago. I have some business to take care of, and I'm going to mix in a little bit of fun, a little bit of pleasure. I definitely will visit the Ralph Lauren store in beautiful downtown Chicago, right off the Millennium Mile, I think is the name of that stretch. There's also the last of the Ralph Lauren restaurants. I will definitely be dining there. And I'm going to catch up with my man Mandel. There's his Instagram. Chicago native, Southside Chicago native. Definitely going to catch up with him. I think I'm a little older than Mandel, but we're pretty much both in our 40s, if I'm not mistaken. So, and like I said, he's from the South Side of Chicago. So, yeah, he's another one of those guys like me where the culture and the lifestyle just, did a complete 180 for him as far as how he was raised. So I'm sure we'll hang out, probably catch a couple of cigar bars, and definitely he's a Ralph Lauren guy, so we'll definitely get some photos in, some dope photos. I wanted to blend Ralph Lauren in the world of Ralph Lauren with a little Cooley High vibe. If you've never seen Cooley High, that's one of my favorite movies. If you know the song, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, Boyz II Men did a remake of it. That song comes from that particular movie. If you're a fan of The Wire like I am, The Wire is the #1 show ever, greatest show ever created. It's not up for debate. And I'm a Game of Thrones fan, and I'm telling you, The Wire is the greatest show ever. The mayor, Mayor Royce, he is, his name is Glenn Turman, and he was the lead character in Cooley High. His best friend was Cochise. Cochise was a basketball star, a ladies' man, coolest cat ever. So, how to rock a varsity jacket, or that whole Chicago street vibe. A lot of that, especially in that time, if you weren't from Chicago, but you liked and adopted that style, it came from watching that movie. It came from Cooley High. It came from Cochise. It came from Cochise and Preach. Preach was Glenn Turman's character. So this ensemble is inspired obviously by Ralph Lauren, but it's also inspired by Cooley High. So we start off with a pair of Polo Blue Label Horsebit loafers, cable knit socks, green cable knit socks, small whale corduroys in the charcoal gray. We have a cable knit cricket sweater, and I do air quotes because one, it's wool. Cricket sweaters usually aren't this type of wool, but it does have your striping here on the cuffs and the chevron, but the chevron and the cuffs is a plaid pattern instead of stripes. So I do cricket sweater, but it may just be a sweater. It may just be a nice, beautiful V-neck sweater. A forest green. little darker than college, a forest green with purple and gray in the pattern. All right, gray estate collared dress shirt, navy blue crested necktie by Ralph Lauren. Another sleeper by Ralph Lauren. Let me just say quickly, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this tie, but let me say quickly. If you catch a Ralph Lauren tie where you can actually put your hands on it, if it's a thicker quality tie, buy it immediately. This is one of the first crested ties I bought. So I've had this tie 8-9 years. And I have had no problems with it. I probably worn it more than any other crested or heraldic tie that I have. It just lasts. It's a thicker material. And you know, Lauren, price point wise, is lower than most of the other genres for men in the Ralph Lauren brand. Lower than Blue Label, obviously Purple, Double RL, Rugby, etc. But this is of a really nice quality. So a nice thick heraldic crested necktie by Ralph Lauren. Gray tam or baker's cap, whichever floats your boat, by Ralph Lauren, herringbone. And this beauty here, which has been on the vlog before, this double-breasted peacoat that's got a shearling collar, not shearling lined, but a shearling collar in brown with purple and cream and gray, a dark charcoal gray plaid pattern on the coat. It's belted, it's double-breasted as I stated, beautiful, and will definitely keep me warm. With this shearling collar and the weight of this coat, Chicago, I'm sure is blistery, but I won't even need a scarf. I should be just fine. Worst case scenario, I'll put a Scully in my pocket just in case I got to take care of these sensitive ears, or I could even flip this collar up if I needed to keep my ears warm. Fragrance of the ensemble, we're gonna go with Supreme Oud for obvious reasons. That oud and that wood flavor, it screams Chicago, it screams Chi-Town, it screams the Windy City, and it goes perfect with this ensemble. It's cool. It's made by a guy named Lee, and it's gonna keep all the women high, coolly high. I'm kidding, but no. Yeah, this is the perfect fragrance to go with this ensemble. It's Supreme Oud. Now, I got 3 rigs for you, and without any further ado, are y'all ready to get into it? We traveling. Y'all ready? Me too. Let's go. First trip we're taking will be to a town known as Scituate, Rhode Island. Now, why are we going to Scituate, Rhode Island? Well, I got a young friend of mine by the name of Ryan, and I want to go check him out. He recently moved from NYC to Scituate, Rhode Island, got a house. Scituate is very eclectic, very rustic town. Now, it's in Rhode Island, so obviously fall, winter, snow, and lots of it. So it's right up my alley. Any town that's rustic, where you have the old cathedrals, the vintage construction of houses, creeks, rivers, ponds, wildlife, great nature, fall-wise, beautiful leaves, country roads. That's right up my alley, just as much as the city is. So we're gonna go to Situate and check out Ryan. Being that it's January, it's cold. There's snow out. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're able to stay warm and still be fashionable, right? That's the whole purpose. So we broke out the wool flannel, the heavy wool flannel Rugby Ralph Lauren pants in the charcoal gray with the all over skull and bones. Nice brown belt. The double RL flannel shirt, medium weight, mother of pearl buttons, Western shirt design with your patterns here on the shoulders, as well as two dual pockets, both with the Western design and the mother of pearl buttons. Now, instead of a Pima cotton turtleneck, we went thicker. We went with a thick, heavy wool turtleneck in this beautiful royal blue. This royal blue, for whatever reason, when it's paired with this flannel shirt, it just makes all the colors pop. I can't explain why. It just is what it is. You're looking at it right now. You can see for yourself. All right. Now, we have to have a heavy coat. I didn't want to do duffel, even though duffel goes great with the eclectic lifestyle, the rustic lifestyle of Situate, Rhode Island. But instead, I went with this overcoat here. This beauty here is a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren overcoat. Most of your overcoats that you see nowadays are a wool cashmere blend, or 100% wool or 100% cashmere, which that's great. This particular one is tweed, herringbone pattern, beautiful colors, including this aqua blue here is also in this coat. Complimentary Rugby Ralph Lauren newsboy cap, same color, same hues, same herringbone pattern. Back to the coat, which is fully belted. I may take a scarf with this ensemble. I probably won't need it. If it's to a point where I have to button up, this is going to definitely keep me warm. So Situate, Mr. Parker's on the way, and I'm coming fully prepared. Once we leave Rhode Island, being so close to my favorite city in the world, there's no way I'm not stopping and checking out my brother Dean. Now, my brother Dean is what I and many consider to be the closest thing to a double RL god. I said what I said. There are a bunch of great guys that are double RL exclusive, double RL collectors. Bunch of great guys. But I just feel like Dean is that guy. He's it when it comes to double RL. So my brother lives in New Jersey. Hop, skip, and a jump from Midtown. You know, I'll go crash with him for a few days. We'll drive over to probably Journal Square and jump on the train. We both love riding the train, and there's just no point in driving to NYC. This is his words, not mine. But there's no point to driving to NYC unless you're only going to be there for a minute. If you're going to be there for, if you're spending the day there, it's best to catch the train. His words, not mine. And he's born and raised New Jersey, and he works in the financial district, so I'm gonna take his word for it. Anyway, New York City right now, 25, 30 degrees maybe. But when you're talking Midtown Manhattan, you're talking skyscrapers, you're talking tall buildings. So that 25 to 30 degrees with nor'easters blowing through those buildings and through those back streets and alleyways and all that, it's gonna feel more like 15. Yeah, it's cold. So, gotta break out the big dog. Navy blue duffel coat. Beautiful duffel coat here. The ropes and wooden toggles. Ropes to latch over here. Grommets in the hoodie. Really for decoration. But with this coat, man, first of all, this coat is extremely heavy. And it's built for you to tighten up. It's built for you to tighten up. Got a throat latch here, functional. Once you tighten up, man, you don't need a scarf. You don't need nothing. Especially when you're talking about rocking this 3-piece wool suit here. Slim fit, wool flannel pants, waistcoat, and jacket. Herringbone, beautiful, beautiful. Wool plaid tie here. Got the wood tie bar, you know, just for that added touch. And a hemp estate collared dress shirt here. So that's a medium weight dress shirt. You got your Elgin pocket watch. You got your Hand of the King brooch here. Wine colored polo blue label pocket square. Just to complement everything else, I'll break out the brown Shanley loafers, the snuff ones, not the leather. And that's gonna be the vibe. This will be the only coat I take. I throw the duffel coat on every day if I need to when dealing with Midtown Manhattan, man. It's just, you know, and we talking Polo Bar, we talking Mansion, we talking West Broadway double RL, the Chelsea double RL, and of course, I'll never go to NYC and not visit Prince Street, Soho, Ralph Lauren store. That's the best store in the world, period. Now, with that said, I've been known to go to NYC and spend 2-3 hours in 867 Madison. I'm not in a rush. I'm talking and politicking and catching up with people I hadn't seen in a while that work there. When I walk in there, if you're in a hurry to go somewhere else, then don't come with me, because I'm going to be in there for a while. There are 4 or 5 floors. I'm visiting every one of them, and I'm going to take my time. It is what it is. Another thing about the duffel coat, you know, the duffel coat was kind of popularized as far as Ivy and Trad, being an Ivy and Trad staple, because think about it. Ivy League schools are in the north. They get inclement weather. They get temperatures in the teens, right? Now you got a football player, for example, or a rugby player, or a soccer player. You know, these gentlemen played outside. Their sport was played outside. You get somebody like that. Let's just stick to strictly football. Football player, padding, shoulder pads, thigh pads, knee pads, etc. But the actual uniform is not thick at all. The pants are not thick. They usually stop at the knees. The jersey is just that. It's jersey, which means it's mesh, which means it got holes in it. You're not going to wear it. You can't wear a thick wool turtleneck under a jersey. So you got to keep these guys warm, especially when they're not on the field actually playing. You know, if they're standing on the sidelines, if they're on defense and their offense is on the field, they're on the sidelines. So a duffel coat, which you can easily put over the shoulder pads and all, and it covers up the majority of your body, full body, it became the perfect go-to coat for athletics in the Ivy League. And it's still a staple today, in not only in collegiate sports to a certain degree, but just in general, in lifestyle in general. So yeah, we're definitely, once we leave Rhode Island, we definitely stopping off in NYC and taking in the sights. San Francisco. I'm going to see the homie, Sammy D. Sammy Diesel on IG. Me and Sammy, man, we like consider each other family. We call each other cuzzo. Like, we consider each other family. We just, you know what I mean, we just vibe like that. It's natural, organic, and he's a Ralph Lauren collector. Like he goes hard. He's got a nice collection. I love to do more so for even more than being a Ralph Lauren collector, because he's a family guy. Like he's just a cool cat, man. So I'm gonna go check him out now. San Francisco, California. I've never been to California, but you know, I know people, I know things. I'm like Tyrion Lannister. I drink and I know things. Um, San Francisco and Los Angeles don't get the same type of weather. Now, of course, Los Angeles is Southern California. San Francisco is Northern California. It's the Bay Area. They're both off the Pacific. They get different weather. I got a homegirl that I used to work with, and we got really close as friends. She moved to the Bay Area a few years ago. It's definitely sweater weather this time of year. Sweater weather, even jackets and coats. So San Francisco, the Bay, it's a little different from California. So we gotta pack a little different. I definitely want to go because, like I said, I want to see Sammy. But San Francisco is also a very beautiful city, from what I've been told. Historic, beautiful landmarks. It's actually on my list of places to move to eventually. So I'm gonna go check San Fran out. So I'm gonna pack like I would be here in North Carolina. That's how I'm gonna pack. So we wanted to go with subtle, cool tones of color. From my understanding, San Francisco is not a fashion capital per se, and somewhat similar to New York City, NYC. They're kind of subdued with their color palette. So when in Rome, we don't usually follow that, but we are this time. We're gonna do it this time just because we can. All right. So small whale corduroys in the navy. I went with a O-ring belt with whimsical patterns on it. Now normally we save something like this for the spring. However, this belt is navy. It's a little bit thicker. The O-ring has it looks like it's been oxidized on purpose so that it has more of a fall winter feel to it. However, it has anchors, wales, and clippers on the belt, but it coordinates perfectly with the entire ensemble. The sweater. This is a sweater vest. Beautiful navies, grays, Columbia blues, even a subtle tones of royal blue in this particular sweater vest, Fair Isle sweater vest. We broke out a vintage polo blue label heraldic tie with the small crest. We have a gray estate collared dress shirt with a herringbone pattern to it, medium weight. All right, and then the piece de resistance is this beautiful car coat here. This is Ralph Lauren. It has a great weight to it. The black buttons to me just screams subtle and subdued. Herringbone pattern, wool car coat here. It's the perfect coat for this particular ensemble. Just cool hues of blue and gray. I'll probably finish this off. I have a pair of blue chuckers, but I think what I'm gonna probably go with is a pair of brown Chelsea boots. I have a pair of brown Chelsea boots that's the same color as the middle of this belt here. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I haven't quite decided yet. I may take both pair, just to play it however I feel like playing it once I get there. But yeah, flight, San Francisco, 5 hours. Good old Gatorade. No need for an explanation. That's another episode in the books. We focused on my bags for traveling. Various locations that I'm going to during these couple of winter months here. Majority business, some pleasure, some leisure. But I'm traveling, and everywhere I'm going, it's cold. It's cold in North Carolina, but it's colder where I'm going, much colder. So, fortunately for me, I'm a Ralph Lauren guy, and a lot of the pieces, specifically coats that I own, are tailor-made for cold weather climate. Inclement weather ain't got shit on me. So, what y'all think, man? Y'all ready for cold weather? If you live in cold weather, or you've been living in cold weather your whole life, then obviously the answer is yes. If not, are you able to travel to cold weather cities and stay composed and not lose your mind because you've never been so cold in your entire life? Are you prepared? Get in the comment section. Let me know. Duffel coats, car coats, polo coats, double-breasted pea coats. What's in your arsenal for the cold weather? What do you have for the cold weather? I'm fully prepared. If you can see behind my head here, these are all heavy coats. Quite a few duffel coats back there. Heavy raincoats, things you've seen on this vlog before. Real quick, I want to send a rest in peace to the legend, the icon, Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna Bryant, and the other families and family members that were in that helicopter on that fateful and tragic day. As of this recording, it was 2 years ago today. And to my knowledge and recollection, that would mean 730 days since the last time I shed a tear. As a basketball player, I was not a huge fan of Kobe Bryant's. Could the boy ball? Hell yeah, that wasn't up for dispute or discussion. But I'm a diehard Lakers fan, was a diehard Lakers fan since 1980. 8 years old, and I first saw Magic Johnson play. I actually saw Magic Johnson play in the national championship, but as far as understanding what I was seeing, first seeing Magic Johnson play for the Lakers, I loved Magic Johnson, and I still feel like he's the greatest basketball player of all time. So yeah, I became a Lakers fan. And I was a Lakers fan all the way up until the Lakers brass chose Kobe over Shaq. Now, did it end up being the right move for the Lakers? Absolutely. But it wasn't the right move for me personally and selfishly. I wanted them to either stay together or you keep Shaq. So when Shaq went to Miami, I became a Heat fan. So the teams that I follow closely now are the Heat and the Lakers. I also follow the Wizards too. But the Heat and the Lakers are two of the teams that, for the most part, you can catch me rooting for. But as a person, I liked Kobe. And I liked him even more when he retired. But as a person, I liked Kobe. I thought he had a different type of swagger, and I'm all about different. Now his some of his fashion choices, nope, not at all. But we're just talking about as a person, his personality, the way he gave it up. Yeah, I rocked with dude. And once he retired, I liked him even more. I just thought he was a real interesting figure. So it hurt. It hurt when he passed away. So rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace, Gianna. You know, thoughts and condolences to all the people affected by your passing. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and tell a friend. Cause we here and we ready for the cold weather. We ain't scared. Artists paint pictures. Haters paint narratives. So don't be no hater. Y'all have a good one.